Hello, Capricorn. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot. I hope you're doing well. Let's take a look at your tarot card for the week of November 23rd, 2025. I've set the intention of this reading to be for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. So if you have Capricorn in any of those placements, odds are there's a little message in this reading for you today. A little. Also, keep in mind that it is a collective general reading. It is not individualized nor personalized to you. Messages may come through today that don't fully resonate. And if that happens, it's okay. It just means that one message is meant for someone else. So take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't. Be sure to check out your other placements. Also, keep in mind my ruling planet of Mercury is in retrograde. So if I sound a little stupid at times or I stumble or fumble my way through your reading, please forgive me. I ask for your forgiveness. With all of that said, let's begin. Tapping into the Capricorn collective now for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. What is the tarot card of the week for Capricorn? Keep in mind, this is not what you don't see coming. The tarot card of the week reading is typically a question source wants us to consider, go within, do some soul searching, so we can make the determination or decision we need to move our life forward. And therefore, we won't be stuck in situations, environments, connections, or patterns that no longer serve our highest good. So what is the tarot card of the week here for my Cappies? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Tarot card of the week, Death. What situation, environment, or connection in your life is transforming and changing to bring about something new? At the bottom of the deck, you have Strength. Where do you find your inner strength? So Capricorn, I feel like you have something here changing in your life. Something transforming, something coming to an end. Tell me what this is here for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. What is this situation, environment, or connection that is transforming or ending for Capricorn? You're supposed to look at it in a different way. Like this is ending, so, this new beginning can happen. Tell me more about this here for Capricorn, please. One more shuffle here. Thank you. First card out, Knight of Cups, followed by Justice, the Five of Cups, and the Three of Cups. Okay. The bottom of the deck, you have Four of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and the Sun. The bottom of the deck, you have Chariot, Six of Swords, Seven of Wands, Eight of Pentacles. There's a connection here in your life that is changing. I think you have been waiting for this change. This is a very specific message, so I want you to take it how it resonates to you. Let me clarify some of these cards first before I get too deep into the message. Clarify that Knight of Cups here, please, for Capricorn. I feel like this message will apply to two groups of Capricorns. One of you have closed out a significant connection in your life. And another group of you, the connection hasn't closed out, but it is rapidly transforming in a monumental way. So both groups have a connection monumentally changing. For one of you, it is closed out or is closing out. And for others of you, it is changing, healing. Tell me about that Knight of Cups here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Knight of Cups is clarified by Nine of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, and the Nine of Swords. Talk to me about Justice here. Talk to me about Justice. One more shuffle. Thank you. Justice is clarified by the Hierophant, the Two of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. Five of Cups. Why is the Five of Cups here? Thank you. Five of Cups is clarified by Five of Pentacles, Five of Swords, and the Empress. Tell me about this Three of Cups. Tell me about the Three of Cups here. One more shuffle. Thank you. Three of Cups clarified by Eight of Cups, Knight of Swords, and the King of Swords. And tell me about this Sun card. Where is Cappy headed? One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Sun is clarified by Strength, which is at the bottom of that deck. The Four of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Death card. This is why I love tarot. Death card here. So, Capricorn, I want to preface this by saying that these readings are not meant to scold you or to make you feel bad about yourself, okay? As I said in the beginning, they are meant to teach us lessons, point us in the direction of a question we need to ask ourselves. And that requires going within, doing some internal work, some soul searching, and coming up with an answer so we can move forward. That's going to be a tough message to deliver. This doesn't have so much to do with that other person. I'll explain why afterwards. This has to do with you, whether this is in your professional connections, your personal connections or your romantic connections, you repeat a pattern in your connections. You repeat a pattern in your connections. And in the connection, you go from Knight of Cups, loving, nurturing, giving that love offer, receiving that love offer, and then getting to the Nine of Swords, getting all up in your head about it. So there's this pattern here in your connections of high highs and low lows. High, low, high, low, high, low. And again, it's not just with any one particular person. That Nine of Wands to the Wheel of Fortune is like, this keeps happening over and over and over again. If this message is resonating for you, there's something here about you need to go within, because it's not so much a that person problem. It's more like a you problem, or like a you issue, or it's your pattern that we can correct. The people that are engaging with you in this, you could call them teachers, lessons, but the main issue here seems to be you. So the Capricorn collective now is about to split. And because you have the divine gift of free will, you get to choose what group you're going to be part of in that split. You will either heal this within yourself, this pattern, and transform yourself with that death card energy. And then moving forward, you have some really nice connections to ones currently in your life, restabilizing, transforming, getting healthier. And then you have new connections coming on that will change your life for the better and will be healthier in nature. Or you cannot identify this pattern within you, repeat the same mistake or the same pattern, either with this person or other people in your life, and you're just going to end up, I hate to say 7 of sorting, 3 of sorting yourself, but that's kind of what you're doing. This is a critical moment here, 555, for the Capricorn collective to change. It's going to be a really difficult message for me to deliver, because I'm in no way trying to insult you. I feel like when you enter connections, you don't ask the right questions. Please don't get mad at me. Or while you exist in connections, you don't ask the right questions. So let me give you an example. We'll use love, okay, as only as an example. I'm speaking to a Capricorn where you meet someone, there's an attraction, you fall for the person, they fall for you, you assume they want what you want. There's no conversation, there's no swords. I just assume, Hierophant of Justice, we're on the same page because, hey, I like them and they like me. And then I enter the relationship, and before I know it, it's emotion, I'm filled with emotional discontentment, abandonment, there's argument, there's old trauma wounds that come up, and I don't feel very fulfilled or nurtured as I should. And then I need to take care of myself, Empress energy, and rebirth the next connection. I got an 8 of Cups, walk away from that connection, and then move towards finding someone else. And I feel like this is a constant pattern for the Capricorn collective. When you're at that Y point and you're entering a connection with someone, whether it's professionally, platonically, or romantically, you can't just assume, or you shouldn't just assume, that you're both on the same page. There are questions that need to be asked. So if you're a Capricorn and you're going for a job interview, at the end of the interview, oftentimes the person conducting the interview, sometimes it's the employer themselves, like your boss, will say to you, do you have any questions for me? And if you're like, nope, all good, when do I start? Haha, that's my only question. You didn't ask the right questions. So then you enter, the workforce, you enter the job, and a month goes by, and 3 months goes by, and 6 months goes by, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought, didn't they say, I'm not sure. Am I supposed to get a raise? Am I supposed to get a promotion? When do my sick days kick in? Those were all the questions you were supposed to ask at the interview. And not just assume that they would be like your last job or what other companies do, or you just presume that that's because of what you want and they want you to work for them, that they're going to give you what you want at a later date. So there's something like that here of entering connections and not asking the right questions from the get-go, from day one. And I feel like there is a lesson here, Hierophant to the 2 Wands to the Page of Pentacles, for the Capricorn collective to ask those important questions at the start of any connection in their life. Same thing if it's just a platonic connection with a friend and you're meeting someone, there's questions you need to ask about loyalty, about vulnerability, about the depth of friendship. What kind of friend is this person looking for? Are they just looking for a friend to hang out on Friday nights and have some drinks and a pizza? Do they have a strong network of friends already? That would be a good question to ask. And that's a good indicator for you to figure out if this person is, tried and true when it comes to friendships. Do they have long-lasting connections? Can they say to you, yeah, actually I have a friendship that goes back 5 years or 15 years? Or are they like, nope, just a loner, I don't have anyone? That would be a bit of a red flag in a friendship type of connection. Now, you can still engage with that person, but then you know what your level of engagement should be. You can't go hard all in and then expect that person to show up on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock to help you move a couch. Had you asked the right questions, you would have known from day one, they're not the kind of friend that does that. They have fair weather friends, the friends they hang out in the good times, or they're not looking to get close. They're not vulnerable. They're not going to be there to help you move your couch, nor will they ever ask you to help them move theirs. So there's something here we're doing on repeat when it comes to partnerships and that Knight of Cups over and over again. And then you end up in the Nine of Swords, like, I can't believe this is happening again. This person talked to me like this. This is exactly what I went through with this past person. Everyone I date is the same way. Every family member screws me over. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That may be true. But if you are experiencing the same thing over and over again with the same person, or the same thing over and over again with different people, then it's time to pause and ask yourself, what am I doing that is contributing to this? Or what am I doing that is attracting or drawing in those types of people? In respect to family, sometimes we think because someone is family that we can lean on them for everything and they can lean on us for everything, but everyone interprets family differently. Everyone has a different idea of that. And you can't just assume that because they are your sibling or because they are your parent or because they are your child, that they will reciprocate or that they will show up the way you would show up if you were in their position. You're not them, nor are they you. So the right questions need to be asked, believe it or not. And I remember there's a family member that I started talking to again, and I said to her, what do you need from me moving forward as your relative, as your cousin? What do you need from me? Because I needed to know if I could provide that as what she considered to be a good cousin. Could I provide that? And she told me, and I said, I think I can do that. And that then had her ask me, well, what do you need from me? And I told her 2 or 3 things. And she goes, I think I can do that too. And we are now rebuilding our connection, because for most of our lives, we just thought because we're cousins, we're just supposed to be together. Blah. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work. You don't have to like every family member. So when's the last time you asked a family member, hey, as my son or my daughter or my spouse or my partner, what do you need from me? And this is a habit that my person and I have become accustomed now to asking one another periodically. Is there anything I can do for you? What do you need from me? Asking the right questions. I see your stress and strain today. How can I help you alleviate that? So there's something here like you're not asking the right questions, either at the startup of new connections in your life, or when you're trying to rebuild connections with people that maybe, you've severed or you've got some damaged ties to, like what questions need to be asked to reconcile properly. And then for those of you who are just like an existing connection, there's something here about, yes, asking them, what is it exactly that they need from you? And I feel like if you change the way you approach connections, 555, I think you will have less connections that end up ending on you, or you will have to walk away from, or they walk away from you, or there's emotional discontentment. All you have to do is King of Swords to the Knight of Swords. This is Aquarian energy and Gemini energy. Detach from the emotion of it. Don't be hurt by what the person says to you. You may not like the answer, but you'll know the truth. And then you'll know how to proceed. Do you continue dating this person? You'll know your level of participation in the friendship. You'll know if you can reconcile with that family member. But it all begins with having that conversation. King of Swords to the Knight of Swords. So I feel like for some of you, the connections in your life, and again, could be one in particular, could be several, could really be transformed here. If you take it upon yourself, the inspired action, to gather all the strength you have, because some of you are going to have to be a little vulnerable when you do this, never done this before, and ask the right questions. So yeah, some of you have a partnership here in your life that's on shaky ground, and you want to keep it. If you want to keep it, you need to ask the right questions. What is this person looking for in this connection? Where is this connection going? What do they see for it? What do they need from you? How can you be a good blank to them? A good friend, a good lover, etc., etc. Because some of you have a connection here it's a little shaky. It's at the Y point. It can go in either direction. But without good, healthy, honest, vulnerable, authentic communication, you're either going to repeat the same pattern with this person or this connection is going to end. So there's something here about if you want to save this connection, you get a do-over here, but you'll need to do it differently in order to get a different outcome. For others of you, the connection has ended or is ending. You don't want it back. That's fine. You have new connections on your path, but there's something about going back and looking at that lesson of needing to ask the right questions. Otherwise, these new connections, like if you stay stuck and stagnant and stubborn, you're like, I'm going to change everything. It wasn't me. They were the a-hole, blah, blah. You're just going to have the same outcome, different person. So there's a wound here in the Capricorn collective, Four of Swords, a communication wound that needs to be healed. Can be transformed, whether you want to keep this person in your life or not, you want to reconcile with them or not. And that's why I was saying at the beginning of the reading, they're kind of a little inconsequential. What is important is you. So what situation in your life is transforming and changing to bring about something new? I think your connections here have the possibility to transform and change, provided you transform this communication wound. Tell me a little bit more about the communication wound. I think this came up for you in one of your readings, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Something similar. Tell me more about that communication wound. One more shuffle. Thank you. The communication wound. The Ace of Cups, the Eight of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck. There we go. Four of Cups. The Moon. And then it's almost like you have like deja vu. So I engage with someone. Past, new, current, doesn't matter. I engage. I open up my heart. Ace of Cups. Look, the cup overflow with love. We're communicating. We're moving fast. Everything is great. I think we're grounded. Oh no. What just happened? Moon card. Four of Cups. Oh. I don't know what happened. We were just celebrating. Three Cups. I thought, hey, what happened? I thought we were on the same page. Where'd you go? Now I'm staring at the Three Cups of what once was. What happened here? No swords, no communication, no inquiry on your part. So it's a little bit of a downfall here for the Capricorn collective, not asking the right questions, not communicating. With six of Cups here at the bottom of the deck with these soulmate, soul bond connections, not communicating. Why is that? Why is Capricorn not communicating? Not asking the right questions. Why is that? Why is that? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Why is that? The Emperor, the Devil, which is you, and the Ten of Wands. Bottom of the deck, death shows itself again. Oh, wait a minute. Four of Wands, Six of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Three of Wands. No swords. Like literally, no, until we go deeper and deeper in the reading. Seven of Swords. Capricorn. I feel like I am specifically talking to a group of Capricornians, who, this is going to be so tough to say. I love Capricorns, and I've got a great friend who's a Capricorn, Jennifer, if you're watching. So please don't take offense to this. There's something here rooted in the Capricorn collective that they don't need to ask. I don't know who the Emperor is. I feel like it's a father figure or just a very masculine leaning female figure. I think this goes back to childhood. I think this was learned, Page of Pentacles, learned in childhood, not to ask questions, to be grateful that anyone would turn their head and look at you. I feel like I'm talking to a Capricorn that doesn't know they're an Emperor or Empress. This has something to do with childhood. You should just be grateful you have friends. You should be grateful anyone will date you. You should be grateful anyone will marry you. Just shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and just put up with the shit, Capricorn. Put up with all the 10 of Wands. Don't argue. Don't complain. There was a masculine energy. Again, I don't read body parts. So it could have been a very domineering mother, could have been a very domineering father. And it doesn't mean that they're, you know, beating you left and right when I say domineering. They're just, they taught you skills growing up. I mean, that's where we learn our skills, right? That's where we learn relationship skills very early on in childhood, how we relate to our parents, how they relate to us, or our guardians, whoever raises us, whoever we spend most time around growing up. There's an authority figure, I'll just call him that. There was an authority figure here in your life that taught you that, like, you should just be, so in my camera, I just saw something move by me. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I caught it on the camera. Right, that was interesting. There's a, there was, because it's past tense, childhood. There was a controlling figure in your life that made the Capricorn collective feel like they should just be grateful that anyone would even look at them, want to be with them, want to talk to them, want them in their life. Don't ask any questions. I'm asking where this wound is coming from. This person. Tell me more about that person. Tell me more about this person. This individual was very influential in your growth when it came to connections. This person may have been very cold. And you may have felt as a child that if you pried and asked too many questions, this is the parent that would then turn their back on you. Right? The emperor would turn their back on you. So even if they didn't outright say it, Capricorn, stop asking questions, you know. Not that they would call you Capricorn, but you know what I mean. Stop asking questions. You know, you're lucky you have that friend or whatever. Even if they didn't come out and say that, it was a learned behavior on your part that this person could turn their back on you or take their aggression out on you if you asked too many questions. You had to be a good little Capricorn. You had to be grateful that, you know, this person just allowed you to live in their house, even though they're your guardian, and that's where you're supposed to live as a child, is in their house. There's something like that, like you were afraid to ask questions or afraid to converse or afraid to even voice your own wants or needs because Big Mama, Big Papa here would get upset. Tell me more about that person. One more shuffle. Thank you. Six of Cups, soulmate, soul bond connection, the Moon, the Chariot. This is someone you grew up with. Absolutely. Absolutely. You shared house and home with them. Soulmate, soul bond connection. This person was emotionally erratic. Moon to the Chariot. High highs, lows, lows. That's what you experience now in your connections. That's sort of mimicking or mirroring in a weird way your interaction with this person. That's why you're afraid to speak up. Because there were days where that person was very loving, very emotional. The Moon rules Cancer. Cancer is a very loving sign. Be very emotional. But the Moon can also get fired up, especially with the Chariot next to it. It can become emotionally erratic. So I feel like whoever this person was, they could be loving. Again, no swords. So you learn to button up. This person, explicitly or not, taught you, you know, like knowingly or unknowingly, taught you that if you ask questions, they could get mad, they could get angry, you would disturb them. Again, you had to be a good little Capricorn, or things could go very quickly from Six of Wands to Five of Wands. We're a happy, healthy, loving family, and oh my God, we're fighting like cats and dogs. Again, very little swords, Queen of Swords. This is what you need to learn. You need to, I mean, you don't have to do anything. You have the divine gift of free will, but you need to step more into Queen of Swords or King of Swords energy. Seems to be your advice here. You're not asking the right questions at the start of connections. During connections, you're not asking the right questions. You're not communicating your own wants and needs. And it's because of something learned in childhood. Just be grateful that anybody wants you. So you're just supposed to put up with crap. You're supposed to carry the emotional load of the relationship. You're not supposed to express your wants, needs, and desires. You just be lucky anybody wants you in their life. Whether this person realized it or not, that's what they taught you, Capricorn. So you can transform. This is a communication wound in the Capricorn collective. You can transform it. I feel like you recently had a blow up with somebody. And yep, the way the cards fell. You recently had a blow up with someone. And I feel like what that was supposed to teach you was a communication wound tearing apart. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying the other person is right. I'm pointing out that there's a communication wound. For some of you, you do not ask the right questions. For others of you, you do not express your wants and needs and desires as you should be able to. Tell me more about this here for Capricorn. Anything else they need to know? One more shuffle. Thank you. Eight of Swords, the World, and the Hangman. I think you need to see it from another perspective because right now you're not seeing it. You're not seeing the pattern. You're not seeing the communication wound here that you have. And it always ends up with these like connections ending or ending in a ball of fire and all of that stuff. But I think you need to see it from a new perspective. I mean, is that person or those people, are they or were they assholes? They could be. I'm not defending them. But there's something here to see from another perspective of how did you play a role in that fight or that argument? How did you play a role in that relationship going off the path, you know, going off track or ending? And I think what you'll see was, if you're honest with yourself, a communication wound. You either don't express your wants, needs, or desires, or you don't ask the right questions at the start of the connections and you overinvest. And then at the end, you feel backstabbed and betrayed. But again, had you asked the right questions, you would know this person wasn't looking for that from you. There was no need for you to overdo it. I want to know about the new people coming in. If you heal this communication wound, you have new people here coming in. If you can let go of that pattern and heal that wound. And look, no one's expecting you to do this today or in the next 7 days. It's just asking you to think about it. Have an honest conversation with yourself about it. That's all. I feel like awareness is key here. Tell me about the new person or new people coming into Capricorn's life. One more shuffle here. Thank you. King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Four of Cups, and Nine of Pentacles. Look, this is going to happen again if you don't heal this wound. You have a new person coming into your life, possibly a fire sign. Again, it could be the new neighbor that moves in next door. It could be a friend, could be a lover. I don't know. It can very quickly go to Four of Cups, and then you end up single, independent of that person. There's a fight. There's an argument. That's the truth. Whenever I say something in a reading and I see an ace, that's the truth. So you do have a new soulmate being put on path. If you don't heal this communication wound, the connection is going to go off the rail there. Same lesson, different meat suit. Hate to say that about another human being, but you know what I mean. Same lesson, different person. Can we get advice for how Capricorn can begin to heal this communication wound? And if this is, you know, the current connection that you're trying to fix or the past person that you want back, same thing. If you stubbornly hold on, you're like, I'm not going to change anything. It's not me, it's them. Even if you connect with this person, very quickly you go to Four of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles is a very independent card. It's like you're back on your own again. Here, what's that White Snake song? Here I go again on my own. That's what this feeling is. And then it's like, what happened? I don't know what happened. Same thing happened from the last 20 times that happened. So whether that's a new person, a current, a past, you know, whatever, same result if you don't heal that wound. How can Capricorn begin to heal this communication wound? Like some of you are afraid, like if you say what you want or need, the person will leave you. Let them. Let them. You're not asking for the wrong thing. You're just asking the wrong person. How can they begin to heal this? Thank you. Ace of Swords. Heal it. Be authentic. Ask the right, I mean, you just can't. That's why I love tarot. Speak your truth. State your desires, your wants, your needs. In the beginning of a connection, throughout the connection, make sure that the person you're communicating with knows what you want and need from them. And ask the right questions to know what it is that they want and need from you. Doesn't matter if they're your sibling and they've, you know, been in your life since birth, or they're your partner of the last 20 years. Communicate. Be authentic. Ask the right questions. I'll also say here, step one here also seems to be just admitting the truth to yourself in that Ace of Swords, because it's very solitary, right? So there's something here about, oh yeah, admitting the truth to yourself, that something here in this reading does resonate for you, and acknowledge that communication wound. So I do feel like that's actual step one. And then step two is learning how to be comfortable with being authentic and asking for what it is that you want and need, and also asking the right questions of other people so you know what they want and need from you. Anything else here Capricorn needs to know? Final messages, and we'll close out your reading. One more shuffle. Thank you. Six of Swords, Temperance, and the Seven of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Two of Swords, the Star, the Four of Wands. That's really nice. You have the ability to move on from this. This isn't a very challenging task, believe it or not, for you. You're represented in tarot as the Devil card for a reason. I mean, that the Devil card is Saturn in your sign, Saturn in Capricorn. When you set a goal and you stay committed to it, a little obsessed, but you stay committed to it, you can be highly successful. So there's like if you really wanted to focus on this, by the time you're done with Sagittarius season, you're done with the lesson. Like you literally can learn it within the next 30 days. You first have to acknowledge that this is a wound that you have, but you can practice asking the right questions, speaking, being authentic, stating your wants, needs, and desires. Literally, like you can move on from this wound. The Five of Swords would be like the communication wound. The Six of Swords would be moving on from it, healing it. Temperance energy, also Sagittarius season. And then like, this is such a different Seven of Pentacles in this deck. This is like entering the new year with feeling very accomplished, that you took the time to heal this wound. Tell me more. You can heal this by the end of Sagittarius season. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Seven of Swords, that communication wound, the King of Cups, and the Hermit. You can do it. You can heal the wound, and you can learn to be very emotionally balanced, King of Cup energy, when you communicate your wants, needs, and desires. I have to throw this out there for one Capricorn watching. It's possible you suppress. And then, remember we saw that Ten of Wands? When it gets a little, like when the last straw breaks, right? The camel's back there, straw that broke the camel's back, you might just come out and like mother F the person. Like you're so irate, angry. I could be speaking to a Capricorn that has that also. But that's from days, weeks, months, years of suppressing your wants and needs, not speaking about them. So there could be Seven of Swords to the King of Cups, that emotional volcano of eruption. So there's something as seeing that this would be incredibly healing for you. It would make you wiser, more emotionally balanced, more emotionally stable, very expressive, very communicative, expressing your wants, needs, and desires, doing it from a very healthy, healed place. So this wound can definitely be healed, but the first step here is to acknowledge that it even exists, and that's something that you can do this week. That is what I have for you, Capricorn. That is your tarot card for the week of November 23rd, 2025. If you like that message, it resonates with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, and subscribe. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.